Transitional justice describes the mechanisms and processes adopted in the aftermath of armed conflict, all following authoritarian regimes. The objective of transitional justice processes is to achieve justice and reconciliation in post-conflict societies for conflict-related crimes, including war crimes, crimes against humanity, and gross violations of human rights. As part of its transitional justice program activities, JLOS undertook a field outreach sensitization in the districts of Adjumani, Kitgum, Padel, Gulu, Amuru, and Nwoya between May 28th to June 29th, 2012. The overall objective of the outreach was to inform and update the communities in the LRA-affected areas on Government of Uganda initiatives and progress on transitional justice, especially formal justice processes, in order to enhance public understanding and participation in the criminal justice process. The target population for sensitization was a cross-section of persons living in war-affected districts, including the general population, local government representatives, and civil society organizations, cultural, traditional, and religious leaders. The outreach session was an opportunity to enhance engagement and interactive exchange with war-affected communities. The sessions sought to receive views from communities on the transitional justice process in Uganda and invite feedback and opinions on the development of the transitional justice policy underway. The amnesty question arose in all the districts. In Acholi sub-region especially, there is a general fear that the lapse of the grant of amnesty might potentially be a security threat to the already existing peace in the region.
The Amnesty Act, I think that one is, it is what can tell the other people, can tell the people and can tell the other nation that this government is a good government by giving the amnesty. Then the part 2, which is taken away, I think if the government can come back and then put that part back for the amnesty to be full. The part 2 is cannot qualify you to get the certificate of amnesty. When either you surrender or you report or you are captured, they cannot give you the amnesty. You have to face law. You have to face court of law. Then when somebody is taken for facing court of law, those who have the certificate, they will get fear. That's all. One day, it will be ourselves also. That is area of our worry.
There was general understanding, however, that the grant of blanket amnesty was problematic since it did not take into account the need for accountability.
The Amnesty Act needs to be reviewed with some amendments. And I think some of the amendments could take care of those who may be innocently are still there in captivity. But at the same time, I also want to say that, it would be very unfortunate for us to say, let us forget all about accountability. There are people who committed, crimes. Definitely, I would not say, let us forget it wholesale. No. There must be prosecution. Maybe the government can decide at what level will this prosecution take place.
Adjumani district, however, was clearly not in favor of amnesty. Allegations were that amnesty was favored in Acholi sub-region because the perpetrators were also victims, which was not the case in Adjumani district.
This issue of amnesty is not a simple thing. Kony himself did not recruit so many people as per now. I don't know whether he still has so many soldiers, but he did not recruit so many. His activity normally comprises of abduction. He abducted so many people. Our fellow Madis are still there in the bush. Acholis are still there in the bush. So if you say, they have to be forgiven. Once a Madi hears that a rebel Madi is captured from bush and brought to home, and be given some kind of trial or amnesty, all Madis will say, yeah, he has to be forgiven. He was not all that involved. He was abducted. And fellow Acholis will also say, Acholis have to be forgiven. That's not justice.
Therefore, as much as amnesty is desired, there is a strong need for accountability, thus raising the amnesty versus accountability debate. There was an overwhelming need for redress for harm committed against civilians and the community in general. The communities expressed disappointment and at the same time anxiety on what government plans to address the reparation needs of the victims.
The government of Uganda doesn't have policy regarding reparations for people who have been massacred, like in Atiak and Baloni in Lira. You know, these people have been killed over maybe 300 or 400 in Lamor. Within the shortest time possible, they were killed. But government doesn't have any policy regarding these people who have been massacred. Even people who have been killed individually, that they needs to be paid compensation.
If the government can afford to at least maybe bring for us some kind of like commemoration, like the one for the massacres in Atiak sub-county could be better. And this one for our place, I think maybe if it can be in the name of school, to remember our dear people, we lost them, I think can be better.
The communities are grappling with the future of children born in captivity. Many are deemed a curse, yet at the same time an undeniable responsibility.
You can look at these women who are returning in two categories. Those ones who lost parents, and then the ones whose parents are still there. So the ones where the parents are still there, the parents can accept them back into the, into the family. But they will not feel very comfortable looking after the children because, there is a sort of a stigma associated with having a child, let me say in quote, in the bush. That one is stigmatizing within our culture because our culture says that the husband, or you can produce out of wedlock, but the man must be known. So in a case where the man is not known, that one is already stigmatizing. So you find very rarely are these, children accepted back into a particular family.
The communities, however, seem to suggest that government has an obligation to cater for these children by urgently designing a strategy to deal with the situation. There are suggestions that these children could be catered for under a reparations program. Communities commended government efforts to implement alternative justice mechanisms in the context of the LRA insurgency.
We have the actually traditional system of justice. We have informal and formal. No, informal and formal. Informal, that is for actually culture mechanism. And the formal, this is the government laws and so on. Surely the system, as far as the mechanism is concerned, I feel that it can work better alongside the formal justice. Something like Matofut, somebody have come and he reported that he has committed an offense. And this was acceptance, we can apply. We bring those two parties together and then we work it out. If the acceptance is there, then we come to the question of Matofut so that we unite these people. The relationship was broken.
But if they don't know the truth, I'm telling you, even the people of Kony will be victimized by the community, because they will still say, it is your son, it is your child, it is your son who has done this to us. This can only be actually achieved through cultural justice system of Maroko.
The communities were quite inquisitive and engaged in discussions evolving around prosecutions and investigations. It was noted that there is a marked lack of understanding of the prosecution and investigation processes generally, and in particular the modalities of prosecution and investigation of crimes committed during the LRA Government of Uganda conflict in the north.
For instance, I've been talking to people in the community. They would even say, for me, I'm even ready to go and testify in the court. I'm ready to testify for my child. I'm ready to testify for my daughter who has been abused, all this and that. I'm also ready to testify for myself or for all this. So really, in all this, I've been able to pick that people have the interest in seeing that justice prevails.
Justice is not about only prosecution. Prosecution is one angle of justice, but in terms of activities, services that aims at saving someone's life and aiming at healing and repairing the life or restoring the values of the life before. So that's where people tend to understand when you explain to them what justice is, not just prosecution.
Transitional justice has emerged as one of the key thematic areas for the justice, law and order sector to address justice and reconciliation in the aftermath of conflict in northern Uganda.
This war is one of the things that really caused a lot of changes in our traditional systems, and some others for the good, some others for the bad, just like war in any other part of the world. So I think one of the good change that took place is that young people have been given attention. You know, they listen to young people, and this is evident by you now coming, you know, to talk to us. We didn't come to you, but you know, you looked for us and you gave us recognition, and you're talking to us now.
We need to have a very good design program that listens to the people in the community, that even gives back, give feedback to the people in the community, that they know it was this point and we have climbed this much and we have this much to climb again, so that we finally reach our destination. We finally get to where we want.
The transitional justice process in Uganda, therefore, is one that seeks to be comprehensive, holistic, and victim-centered. It seeks to achieve this through a consultative and participatory process involving victims, war-affected communities, civil society organizations, cultural and religious leaders, local government, and other stakeholders.
Oh